Wonderful. So welcome again to the Be Curious Weekend question and answer session. So I'm Pippa, the Community Events Coordinator, and today we're also joined by my colleague Caroline, who'll be supporting over the weekend. So if you're coming, you'll meet Caroline. Would you like to give a little wave, Caroline? That's lovely, thank you. So I'm going to start by telling you a bit about the weekend, and then you can either ask questions, or if you prefer to type them, you can put them in the chat. So I'm going to give you a little slideshow. Hopefully this all works. So you can I think it helps to see some of the visuals. Okay. So can everyone see that okay? You can see everything on my screen. Can everyone see that okay? Just give me a thumb. Perfect. Okay. Just do it as a little. There we go. So you can see there. So that's brilliant. So this is where it all takes place. So the weekend takes place at Bow Manor Hall. It's full of family activities. So we hear from our members time and time again that something that's so important to them is meeting other people who get them, both for the children to meet other people who have similar interests and experience, and for the parents who can really, really understand the kind of joys and challenges of meeting other people with high learning potential and DME. And that's basically why the Be Curious Weekend was set up, to give you the time and the space to make social connections for those with shared experiences. So all of the activities are designed to promote teamwork and give you the chance to meet and bond with other families. So we've got purposefully designed activities to give you that, and had a really long lunch break and time in between sessions to give you lots of time to meet other people. So there are lots of activities to engage the brain and lots of activities to be outside and try something completely new, which is a really bonding experience. So the weekend takes place over 2 days, on Saturday and Sunday. We have got a maximum capacity of 110 people per day. That's roughly between 35 and 40 families coming per day, and we're expecting to be at full capacity this year. So Bow Manor is a manor house, so it's privately owned. It was privately owned before the Second World War, and then came under the jurisdiction of the Ministry of Defence and was used as a Y station, a listening station, and was removed from all the maps during the Second World War to hide its significance. So there's still a Ministry of Defence facility next door, which used to be a sixth form school and is now a training centre. And there's the Manor House, which we're very nice and near. There are grounds, and then there are different huts on site. So it's now owned by Leicestershire County Council, is mainly used by schools. They are fantastic instructors. They're really used to working with schools. We've had lots of different conversations with them about high learning potential and DME, and they've been really, really accommodating. So they really understand all of the different aims and objectives on the weekend, and they really help to facilitate them. It's a completely secure site, so the grounds are sealed. That's not to say you'd let your children go off walking by themselves, but there might be other people at the hall, but we'll be the only people in our area. So we've got this lovely stables area as our base, and we're going to go off. So you meet here as a starting point where the big crowd of people are, and it's a squad shape with an old fountain in the middle. So it's a really nice central point to meet and come back to. So you're collected from all of your activities there, taken there by the facilitators, and then you'll come back as a group. We also have a map of the site. This one is last year's map. So it's, but just to give you an example, you will get one of these so you can see where all of the different activities are taking place, and you'll be guided there. If you're late, you'll be helped by myself or Caroline to find the place, but you won't need to worry about that. And our area also has some nice base rooms to meet for tea. A secondhand bookstore will be there as well, so you can eat your lunch inside the rooms. It's a really nice place. It's a really beautiful, inspiring place. It's really atmospheric, and that's really struck people when they've arrived, when they come. So a little bit about the activities. So this year we've got an Iron Age Celts theme. So you've got the chance to do a maximum of 8 activities a day, which we'll look at in a bit more detail. So Iron Age Celts really uses the history of the Iron Age fort that originally stood there and would have been occupied by the Coritani tribe, which was native to Leicestershire. It's really interactive and fun. You can see a little bit of like blue face painting here, which was a highlight activity for lots of people last year. So in terms of that, there'll be kind of, it's very immersive, it's really interactive, it's really fun. Children are kind of history detectives and they get to discover lots of different aspects of Celtic life and culture. So we've got a runic trail where you learn about the Celtic alphabet and follow a trail, have to decode messages, and you have to use like really good problem solving skills to uncover their meanings and complete the challenges. We've got a roundhouse where you discover what daily life was like, being in an authentic roundhouse, thinking about the local Coritani tribe, their diet, how they slept, their daily chores, their entertainment. So it's very, very immersive. And then you've got warrior training, which is a really fun kind of practice session where you get to test speed, stamina. So you have a kind of torch relay, you're prepared for battle, you do some spear throwing, and then all very safe. And then you dress for battle as well in a warrior's tunic, get some kind of fantastic paint on, grab your sword and shield, charge into action. So they're really fun based on the history of the site. And then we have, should have one, yeah, there we go. So we've got different team building activities as well. We've got bridge building, so where you're building a bridge in teams, you're given certain different materials, and then you have to kind of actually be able to cross a small stream, and you have to get your team members across successfully. It's a really nice activity to start because at the start people could be quite hesitant and then they get really fully into it. You've got land buggies, which works in quite a similar way where you're given materials to create a buggy. And that tends to happen that you get the children on board and then the adults push it and then maybe even race each other. So it's a really great activity for teamwork, lots of problem solving and creativity. There's different challenges, which are quite vaguely described as team challenges A, B, and C. They're basically, they've got the biggest selection of different activities that you could do. So you could select challenge A, B, C, and D and get different ones each time. It was a completely different experience. They've got a huge bank to draw on, so they haven't specified these. This is just to have flexibility about the kind of size of the group, the age of the group, the weather conditions, but they've got so many different things. So you can kind of see a couple of the things where you have to kind of walk in a line or go between the tires. They've got lots of different things that they can choose from. It is worth highlighting that night challenges B is also known as Nightline, which is the picture that you can see with the kind of goggles on, where people have got a blindfold underneath and then a pair of goggles. So you have to kind of, it's about guiding each other, working as a kind of team to help somebody who can't see. So they have to guide people through. You've got a leader. If there's anybody with any sensory things, maybe don't choose that as an activity. We've also got nature pond dipping. So there's a pond on site which is teeming with wildlife where you can catch and identify all sorts of creatures. And then you've got bushcraft, which is out in the woods where they'll be building a den and a fire, which is really fun. These are all 1 hour activities. And then we have got some 2 hour activities, which are the kind of the ropes, the canoeing and the climbing wall. These ones are kind of more sporty, adventurous activities. Typically you need kind of older children doing these because there's an age limit. They have to be at least 6 years old. There's also a height limit. Everything is on the brochure about what you need to be able to do, but it's really important so that you don't have a kind of 4-year-old with you that you kind of sign up to something and then they'll be disappointed where they get there. So if you have got any questions about that, we can go through it, but there are some limits with that. One of the questions that we do sometimes get is if people have got kind of, if the parent has got a health condition, they won't be able to do the high ropes or the climbing. Is it okay if they don't take part? The answer to that is yes. You can watch from the ground from the high ropes and the climbing, but not for the canoeing because that's a round trip. So you have to take part in the canoeing. So you know your own child and you know what will be able to appeal to them and what's within their capacity as well. There's an expectation that parents do join in with the activities. If your child is building a bridge, for example, and you're kind of stood watching, it's really difficult to kind of manage the situation. So if you do, you do need to take part in the activities, with the exception of the high, some of them will have exceptions, but speak to me about any of them kind of on an individual basis. It's also just kind of worth highlighting as well, we've got a kind of a program, a brochure that's attached to the website on the booking page. Have a look as well through all of the kits. So if you are doing climbing or high ropes, you need to have long trousers for the harness. For the canoeing, as well as for the bridge building, you need to just be prepared to get wet, so have a change of clothes. And also the kind of time of year, just bring clothes that can cover every eventuality, because it could be boiling, could be raining, it could be a bit of both. So even if it looks like it'll be completely sunny for the whole weekend, it's just good to come prepared with lots of changes of clothes. There's also car parking on site, and that's really close to where we're based, so you can keep things in the car and just nip to the car if you need to. Okay. I also just wanted to kind of highlight skills builder. So alongside having lots of fun, like, your children will also be building skills. So we work in partnership with Skills Builder, which helps to build 8 different essential skills which you need for success, which are listening, speaking, problem solving, creativity, stay positive, aiming high, leadership, and teamwork. So Skills Builder is about everyone at every stage of their lives having opportunities to build these skills. So you'll see when you look through the programme, you can see that the activities that you take part in are matched to an essential skill. So they've normally got 3 things that will be a focus that they'll be able to do. So you might have so that each activity is kind of pre-selected. Sorry, I've got a bit of a cough. Each activity is pre-selected. But you might have another aim. So kind of some of the images that you can see on the side are things, they're really fun, they're kind of stickers. So if people feel that they've done a skill really well, they can get a sticker, they can shout about it, you can kind of look at a skill you want to develop and how you did that. It's a really nice, fun, interactive thing. We will kind of be sending you a bit more of an email about that, but just to kind of, when you get there, you might recognize that and you'll know what it's all about. There's also a home zone, so you can look a little bit at each of the skills, so you're a bit familiar with them before you start, but we'll guide you through that. And it's just really fun. So the children love having the stickers. It's a really instant recognition of what they've been working on. They really like collecting all of the stickers there. You can also see a timetable in the brochure. So for the morning, you can either take part in 2 one-hour sessions, or the adventure sessions, which are a double session, which run across the whole morning. If you are wondering where the brochure is, you should be able to see kind of on the events page. So on the website, you can go to the navigation bar, and at the top, you can see the events page. You have to kind of scroll down past everything else that's happening to get to May. And then on there, right at the kind of start, you'll see the helpful resources section. So you'll see kind of a frequently asked questions and a brochure there. So it's an embedded link so that you can kind of download them and print them out if you'd like to. It's also just worth noting that with the timetable, there are different start times. So Saturday starts later than Sunday. That's with the idea that if you're staying overnight for Sunday, you'll kind of be in the area and it's easier to get there because people may be traveling on Saturday. Okay, so when you come to booking, you're going to need to put in your activities. So you need to go to plan what you're going to do before, because when you book, you need to put in your selection. Some of the adventurous ones have already gone, but it kind of comes up as fully booked, so you can easily see what's booked and what isn't. If you've got younger children, that shouldn't be an issue at all. They also have, if you hover over the kind of information, the little kind of icon with the page, you can see the description of the activity as well. So booking is open, so you're welcome to come for one day or both days. So there's flexibility to choose what works for you. There's an early bird pricing system. So for members, the early bird price is £45, and that goes up to £55 after midnight on the 30th of March. And all of the booking closes on the 27th of April. In order to get your prices, you kind of, if you put yourself in as the main contact, then you can add additional attendees, and you need to be signed in to your account in order to get your discounted rate. So if you have a concessionary membership, just make sure you're signed in, and that should automatically show up. If it doesn't, just get in contact and I can help you with anything, but it should do. Just to kind of say, there isn't any lunch on site as such. There's kind of rooms to eat packed lunch if you want to bring that with you. There's also a coffee van where you can get your kind of nice fancy coffees, your lattes and your flat white. And it's also got limited food options. They do have vegetarian options and something hot. So you will be able to buy something on site, but they don't have a vast array of food or a vast array of options. So it's really good to bring food with you. We will have rooms which are kind of a good base where there'll be some like games and things that children can do, and also kind of just some instant coffee and tea and water. So we're also kind of within a 10-minute drive of lots of different places you can eat. There's an hour and a half for lunch, so you can kind of pop off site and then come back if you want to. We gave a really long time because we wanted to make sure you had sufficient time to go off and get food if you need to, but mainly so that you have plenty of time to mix and chat with other families. So key part of that is just having the social time, and there will be kind of some puzzles and brain teasers for the children as well to make sure they're entertained. And there's lots of space to wander around if you feel like you need some quiet time and to digest and be ready for the next session. So there's a small playground on site as well. In terms of accommodation, Loughborough is a university town, so there's lots of different hotels and bed and breakfasts. So you're also within 25 minutes of Nottingham and Leicester. So we've got some kind of, not recommendations, but just options in the brochure, and also some kind of entertainment ideas. So if you do kind of come and want to do something in the evening, there are cinemas and theatres as well. So it's not completely in the middle of nowhere. It's enough in the middle of nowhere to be picturesque, but kind of 5 minutes up the road, you've got all of the facilities you could need. We also have a secondhand bookstall. So it's the opportunity to kind of bring secondhand books with you and to buy them there. And we'll have a raffle as well. So we kind of ask people to bring any unwanted books on the day for the stall. So do bring cash. There should be a card reader, but it is kind of a oldish building, which sometimes the Wi-Fi doesn't work. So if you can bring cash, that would be absolutely fantastic. I'm going to stop sharing this, and then if anybody has got any questions, I'm very happy to take any. Okay, I'm going to try and read out some from the chat. Thank you very much. Okay, so we've got some in the chat. We're coming with an extra adult and little person. Will they be allowed to come into the building and join us for lunch, etc.? Yeah, absolutely. So that's fine. Any, like the event is aimed from kind of 4-year-olds upwards. So if you are coming with a younger sibling, you're absolutely welcome to come with an additional adult that doesn't need to have a ticket if they're kind of mainly looking after a little one. They're welcome to wander around the site and have a look around. There's kind of there's nice things. It's a nice site. It's kind of very lots of green space. There's a little playground. So you're welcome to kind of come there and have a look around kind of our rooms and be in our base. But also if the parent kind of wanted to take them off site into the nearby town and then kind of come back for lunchtime, you'd be really welcome. But yeah, it's absolutely, there's a lot of younger siblings that do come. You're very, very, very welcome to bring younger siblings. So that's yes, that's no problem at all. Okay, any more questions? You can type them into the chat if you like. Okay. Can younger siblings get involved? Not unless they buy a ticket. So if they are, so younger siblings are welcome if they're kind of under 4 to be on site. they can't take part in the activities without a ticket because we've got kind of a limited amount of people taking part. So if you're not sure, if your child can take part in activities or not, just get in touch. If they're kind of 4 or above, that's absolutely fine. If they're 4 or under, they're welcome to be on site, but they can't actually take part in the activities. Okay, another question, a very good question. How many people tend to come for both days versus one day? A lot of people tend to come for both days. It does vary with, how long people travel, but the majority of people tend to book for 2 days. But if you're kind of just dipping your toes in the water, it's your first time coming to be curious, and you're not sure how your child will respond, you might want to just kind of book one day so that you know what it's like. But like some people do just come for one day. They might have a kind of long journey, not stay overnight. It's flexibility, but kind of probably about 85%, just as a rough percentage, would come for both days. Just a ballpark figure. It's nice to come for both days because then you get to kind of meet the same people over a couple of days, and people do make really nice bonds there. Children tend to make really nice bonds.